Hey Cal, how's it going? This is looking really, really, really sweet. And yeah, I think that quick comments, for you on your scene. The acting's looking much, much, much sharper, and I like the way that now the characters are interacting with one another. It's very, very, very clear everything that's going on, so that's kind of like a big plus side. Things that jump out of at me here are especially looking at grabs his, when they hold hands. That's absolutely perfect. Just have a look at what's going on with her when she's turning round. I think that by frame 38 she could have done a small little step. So when she's actually turning round, because it's quite a long way, you are almost expecting like one step and two step. Kind of like so roundabout when she plants her foot on frame 24, try to get the foot, her left foot, actually coming a little bit more forward so that we can feel like it's like she turns on frame 24 and then she does another turn to adjust with the foot after that, which could probably be like a couple of frames after that. I think something like so from 24, or which is when the foot plants, come round to about 39 or 36 round there, and just plant the foot forward so that she does a little bit of a step there. Other things that kind of like jump out at me as well is that when she lets go of him, look out for the arm, her arm on frame 66. Actually, both of them. One of them's kind of like intersecting the body, which is down here, and it's very close. So spread that arm out away from the body a little bit, and then look at the hand that she lets go. Put a nice solid arc on that because it's high. You must want it to, when she lets go of it, to actually rise, drop very quickly, and then go off in one direction like that. So it looks like she's almost turning her wrist at that point clockwise. So she gets out of his grip and drops the hand, and instead of having the arms outstretched at 69, you'd almost want it down and already separate from him. So roughly where his left hand is, her hand should be around that area over there. So it's an arc down and up a little bit. Okay, and then when he kind of like says I would, I think that he can just drop his hand straight. So from frame 83, drop the hand down, in just about some 8 frames, 9 frames, just straight down. Because currently he kind of like goes, I would, and he's got one hand like that, and his other palm is like this, and his hand was before like that. Just drop the hand back and let it rest by his side and say, I would, like that. And also, when he goes, I would, instead of having just the hand with the fingers up here on the shoulder, put the hand here in the middle of the chest. And again, just look at, some reference and go, I would. If it's a double tap here on the chest, that'll just feel a little bit more personal as well. And it also means that this elbow doesn't have to be so high. You can just drop it down on frame 107. And then really nice, the poses over here on your next shot. Those are very clear. It's reading very clearly from the eyes, which is a real good thing. Even without the lip sync, you can really read the performance in the eyes, and I like that a lot. And then when he comes over here, it's really, really, really cool. The only thing that I don't like is that she turns with her body before she turns with her head, and that just feels a little bit weird because you see that I can't really do that at all. I can look and turn, but to turn without turning the head is near impossible on 225. So really what I'd do is that I'd delay that turn until she actually, can turn her head at the same time. So I'd say, if he's turning her body like that, her head would naturally drift over. So depending on what you prefer on the performance, you either want her to delay that turn and do it nice and slow, or you want her to actually just, turn around, either head first and then body, or, everything roughly at the same time as well. Okay? So he turns around, his hand coming up there. It's really linear right now, his hand in frame 251, and he's just coming back there and he's scratching the back of his head, but it's just coming up perfectly straight like that. It would be more like, the hand would come up and look at what the joints would be doing. So kind of like lift his arm up like that, then stretch the arm back here, and put the hand down here. So really kind of like there's much more of a bend. So almost think about that instead of going way kind of like all the way up here, it would be a bit more of a, well, you know, a smaller motion, if that makes sense at all. Try to get his hand to the back of his head a little bit quicker instead of swinging all the way on a very long arc instead of that. So at frame 245, just shorten that up, rise his hand up, and do that in two motions very much. Think about where your breakdowns are going to be, where's that halfway point, and how does he get to the back of the head over here. And when he does, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. He's got this kind of like very open kind of like pose in 305. Strengthen that up a little bit, you know. Have a look at what the hand's doing. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles, you know, and kind of like try to keep the hands, you know, doing something but not being too overly complicated as well. And then when he drops down over here, you could rest the body a little bit more. So on 313, have the body curl forward a little bit more and just being a little bit of the spine kind of like flexing like that forward towards camera. That'll be a bit nicer at 331, and then that will help that, you know, rise of shoulders and look back at camera that you've got at the end over there. But it's great work, man. It's really cool. You know, it's nice to see kind of you reworking things and getting stuff, you know, just that much sweeter. And again, you know, it's reading fantastically well from the eyes. That's definitely a really, really strong part that you've got in your animation, man. So best of luck, man. You know, we've got a couple of days to work on this, and then all of Class 6 to polish as well. So keep at it, man. Okay? See you soon, and have a good weekend. Bye.